You know, many times we're milling figured lumber for furniture, and it's not terribly long, yet it can have some pretty, what I'd call not select or better variations in it, yet can contain some very figured wood that we'd like to dress. And you know, this type of lumber can be a little dangerous to mill, mostly because it's rocking terribly. I don't know if you can see that clearly or not. You know, but you can see that it's, you know, it's sitting up quite high here. You know, and the general wisdom is to have the bow down, but obviously in this case we have rocking on both sides, and you know, of course, this sort of material you should use push sticks, especially when confronted with the pork chop guard, you know, which opens up the cutter at the beginning and at the end. Now, how I deal with this type of material, where it's massively distorted, yet I want to keep it good, is I'm going to set the cutter to not take massive cuts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put what I call non-rocking millwork at the ends of what is the most bowed part. And the reason I do that is if we do feed the whole piece through to flatten a bowed like that, obviously it cuts at the beginning, doesn't cut in the middle, and it cuts at the end. If it's severely bowed at the beginning, it can actually dive in because there's not sufficient flat wood at the beginning of the cut to span the two tables and keep maintained control. And so what I like to do, and you may see that I've got quite a bit of wear on my table surface here, is I like to throw my piece on top. Okay, and let me show you how I get this back far enough. Show you how I deal with stabilizing the wood. And it's by actually only milling half of it at a time until it's stabilized. See, I've got, you know, the end milled flat. I'm now going to do that end. So now I've got sufficient flats at each end. Taking light cuts. This sits very stable now. There is no rocking. So I can now feed this in very safely. I now am fairly flat, or at least I'm not rocking. Okay, now the bridge guard can do the same thing. It doesn't require, so how would you do it with the bridge guard is you'd actually open the guard just like you would with the bridge guard, and you feed it this way. And that's only for those steps. You'd use push blocks for that. But because the bridge guard doesn't require push blocks, at this point, I want to use my hands. Okay? And the bridge guard is set just above that wood. Now, I like to go through to see if it is rubbing, and it is a little bit. So I just raise it that little bit. Now, some might say that that's a pain in the ass, but once it's set, you hardly ever change it. Now, hand position is great for a bridge guard because obviously your hands are in more control. I can actually put my hands right here, in front of that cutter, and as it goes through, behind that cutter. So my pressure is here and here. I can't get my hand, if the wood shoots, my hand won't move. So let me show you that. Oops, sorry. Change that brake, it's a little light. Now, you can see that did a fine job. That's a pretty crooked piece, you know, from front to back. But we're pretty good. The other, and that was a much heavier cut. I had lots of control over that piece. I know some people were confused about the difference in how to use the crown guard over that. And the only time you'd need push sticks for that is if you want to do the drop down method, which of course you can, but you need to open the guard, and that's when push sticks are involved. Majority of the time, we don't need to do that. And push sticks are considered a last resort. At any rate, I thought it was a technique worth showing. Thank you.